Hello, and welcome to our Ostara Celtic Fire Festival, and welcome to the Shamanic Activations Academy. As always, it is an honor and a pleasure to have you journeying with us and allowing us to bring a little bit of magic and our beautiful students' gifts to gift back to the community to support your journey. And we are at this beautiful time of transition between seasons, going from the winter into the springtime, which is always a time not just of seasonal transition, but a transition for our body, for our energy. We feel different. We connect with the elements around us that are bringing new energy and a sense of renewal, of reawakening of the earth, and of course that can have impact on us as well. So we are leaving the dark side behind. We're stepping more towards the light. And yet, when it comes to Chinese medicine, the transition that we have here is going from the heaviness, the sadness, the fear that are relating to the lungs and the colon, the kidneys and the bladder that we're working with in the winter, and the colon and the lungs are in the autumn. So we have had the kind of negative emotions, the more kind of sad, fearful emotions, and now we're stepping in a bit of a more active energy. Nevertheless, is still a big emotion, is the emotion of anger. So in the springtime, we have our liver and the gallbladder are active. They are detoxing, so they're pushing out toxicity, and they are also helping us moving through anger and suppressed anger, frustration, all the stuff that is associated with that. So in this time of transition, about 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after the equinox, we really feel that shift. Plus, we are also under the energy of a full moon, so is even more present and alive in us. This tension, the kind of really makes you feel like it's almost like the volcano is about to explode. So really stepping into that energy is an opportunity for us to also transmute anger, to start thinking about what anger represents for us as a messenger. What is it here to teach me? And we need all of our emotions, negative emotions too, and emotions are messengers. They tell us stories about things that are going on. They make us feel what is right and what is not. They help us tune into the heart field, into the coherence, because when we're experiencing those negative emotions, we know that we're not in coherence. So they give us also a framework for us to navigate and understand that I feel scattered, I don't feel aligned, I'm not right, and there's something here that needs to shift. So if I transmute how I look at emotions, and I'm actually giving some love to these wonderful negative emotions, and and really let them teach me, let them show me the way, that there's something that needs to shift, then I can actually leap ahead into a future where I'm the master of my emotions, and where I'm the master of my energy and what I put my energy into. So this is a really powerful notion, that we can work with all the emotions in a positive way, letting them guide us, to the change that needs to happen for us. And so this is a time of balance as well. So with Ostara, we are really celebrating the perfect balance between light and darkness in what is represented by the light and the darkness in the daytime. So, well, how do you explain it? So in the 24 hours, we got 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness, essentially. So we are in complete balance, and that, if you want, is also something that people think about in terms of, okay, this is my opportunity to compensate or to make things equal, and that is beautiful in itself. But remember that in that balance, so when we are achieving that balance, is also really, really, really easy to spot any imperfection in the balance. Yeah, because once we have acknowledged that this is what it feels like to be in complete physical homeostasis, when we are completely balanced as far as our mindset is concerned, and when we are aligned in terms of our spiritual energy, we can really spot where the cracks are, where the things are not pure. Think of it almost like the Tao, yeah, having the white and the black, as two big areas that are kind of complementing each other, and yet there's a part of the other color in each of the bigger part, in each of the bigger sort of swirly things, whatever you want to call it. So that is really to highlight that in the perfection there can be imperfection. Those two parts are perfectly balanced, yet they're not necessarily perfect. And it's really powerful. It's really powerful because, again, it teaches us, like anger in our life, that we can be imperfect, that we can experience these negative emotions, but they're still all part of us. They're part of the bigger picture. So they are inviting us to embrace them, to really learn, and to help us, see a different side, to what we have been taught. So welcome to Ostara, and that opportunity for you to realign and to create balance, to feel more grounded as you're, establishing your roots. Remember that a tree is just as big as the roots that it can grow. So either side, we have a real opportunity here to establish, firm foundations for us to grow, in the most exciting and expansive way possible. And of course, we are stepping into beautiful opportunities for us to think about what we want to manifest into the springtime, and also really to feel into everything that is an opportunity, what we want to tend, what seeds we're going to be planting. So these are some of the topics that are going to be covered this evening, and I'm very, very excited to have here sharing with us our beautiful students from the Shamanic Activations Academy. And first person up for the first time delivering online with us is our beautiful brother Sean. So Sean, if you would like to unmute yourself, and welcome to our ceremony. How you doing?
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can hear you fine.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Yep.
How
Yep,
about you?
everything's good, thanks.
Amazing, amazing. So Sean, I'll leave it up to you, and I shall catch up with you in a short moment.
Okay, hello everybody.
Hello,
Can
hello.
everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep. Just trying to sort my notes out here. So I'm going to just do about a 10 minutes presentation on grounding. Just go over a few things, and we'll do a little bit of an exercise of from a grounding sort of meditation. So obviously, I had to look up a bit online to find out more information about grounding, because my knowledge on it was limited. So just reading off the notes I took. So grounding, which is also called earthing, is a practice of connecting your body directly to the Earth's surface to absorb its natural charge. And by connecting your body, it means your bare skin. So walking or standing barefoot on the ground. So there's no artificial soles of your shoes, trainers in between you and the ground, blocking any energy that's coming up. This may help reduce stress, inflammation, and improve a person's overall well-being. So what grounding is, or earthing, involves direct physical contact, as I said, with the earth, such as walking barefoot on the grass, sand, soil, or using these grounding products you get, like the mats for standing on, that sort of thing, or even the bed sheets you can get now as well. But you'll be asleep. You're probably not so good doing that, because you'll be asleep and won't be able to do your meditation. So the practice is based on the idea that the Earth's surface carries a negative electrical charge. And when your skin touches it, electrons flow into your body, neutralizing excess positive charges that accumulate from modern electrified environments. So how to practice grounding? As I said, barefoot, outdoors. Walk, sit or lie on natural surfaces like grass, sand or soil. Nothing artificial between you and your bare skin at all. Water immersion is also another one. So if you're lucky enough to live close to the sea, and even in this island in winter time, you don't mind getting in the cold water as well, you can do that. And as I've already mentioned, the grounding products like the mats for standing on as well. Anyway, I don't know how effective that would be between connecting directly with the ground, especially if you're doing it from, and this has just come to me now thinking about this, especially if you're doing it the way that we want to do it. If we want to connect with nature, Gaia, you're connecting with a man-made object that's got the electrical charge in it. So how it works, the human body functions with both positive and negative electrical charges. Modern lifestyle, wearing rubber-soled shoes, as I've already said, sleeping off the ground, and exposure to electronic devices can create imbalances in these charges. Grounding is thought to restore balance by allowing the body to absorb electrons from the earth, which act as natural antioxidants, neutralizing free radicals and potentially reducing oxidative stress and inflammation. Some studies suggest grounding may also support heart rate variability, cortisol regulation, and overall stress reduction. So basically a copy and paste modern medical technical way of explaining it. But I think we want to go a little bit different to that. So I've made notes on what I've learned recently and from a bit of my own experience. So I really started grounding myself last year. I'd heard about it before, a couple of years before. So I started really doing it last year over summer, and practically every day. And I was especially waking up early, 6 o'clock in the morning, because I was starting as well. Something else I heard of was sun gazing, and so doing them both at the same time, similar to what Fred's talked through on the meditation is if you're done with them, connecting with the sun for its masculine energy and Gaia for its feminine energy. And I found doing this regularly after some weeks, when I woke up in the morning, within a few minutes, started smiling. I didn't know, I'd just give a little smile and I'd be happy. And I didn't know why I wasn't connecting it. And then I would go out across the road. There was a field that used to be the site of a Sleaford castle. Within a couple of minutes of walking out there barefoot, if I can use a quote, I was grinning like an idiot. Somebody saw me that would probably be thinking, is he on the wacky backy? So I've never been like that before in my life. And I can only attribute now, thinking about it this last couple of days, I can only think it's because of what I was doing. The grounding and with the sun gazing and like lack of people around that time of the morning as well. Which was good for me because there were times we spoke about at the weekend about getting angry. There'd be times I'd get angry about situations that had happened when I'm on my own, thinking about them anyway. And that started to fade. That got less and less till I didn't do it. So I was getting another benefit there. So where's my notes? Lost my way. So I was also doing other techniques to release the anger, along with the grounding and the sun gazing, the box breathing. Again, another thing that I carried on with shamanic activations. And then I realised from stuff I was doing, that this was actually all that I didn't know it was the right thing to do to calm my nervous system. Is the grounding, so that's another benefit of it as well, because I didn't know that that's where all your trauma's stored. And that is something that's not explained in that modern medical explanation I gave you at the beginning. However, there's still something missing from what I was doing. Things I recently learned from the Earth Retreat and books I've been reading last couple of weeks. And I quote this from a book I just read. We are from Gaia, we came from her, I will return to her as well. And I'm just connecting that with the grounding that we're doing. So when we ground, we are taking something from her, which is her healing energy. So we should ask her for it, which is, again, something I learned from the retreat this weekend from Hayden. Ask if you can take something and don't just assume. And it's going to be given anyway, but just putting that little bit extra on it, the little connecting more with Gaia, with nature, can help the process. But, you know, I think anyway. And I had a question about that, but waiting until we return to the lodge to raise it with Hayden and Fed, because me thinking I had a thought of my own way of answering as we took nettles, etc., for the salad. And I'm thinking, nobody's going to answer me, say yes or no. And it's a sort of a little bit of a, you know, I was a bit stumped. But then talking to Hayden and Fed, the only thing I could attribute it to is like, well, they know my intent, like the vibration. And I got the answer, yes. So that, for me, it made me a little bit more, well, that's okay. At least they know that I'm asking and trying to do the right thing. So our intent should also be focused on receiving the healing that we're getting. Why we're doing it, the reason we're doing it. Let Gaia and the universe know what you're asking for. Our connection with Gaia can also be deepened by bringing a gift for her, such as flowers, seeds, shells, or feathers, in exchange, as well as the asking and the thank you. I also learned at the retreat about the connection between giving and receiving, something which Fed explained to me as well. We can easily give verbal thanks and a gift and have genuine meaning behind what we're asking for, but we must be open to receive the healing, the help that's being that's being offered to us. And again, that was explained a bit, you know, it's not something I thought about before until Fed told me about it. And although I did not do any of this because I had gaps in my knowledge when I started grounding, I still received the benefit. I didn't ask Gaia, and I didn't have like the intent behind it, but I was just going out there. I had heard it was good for you, for your health. So I guess I was open to it. And I guess since that my intentions were good, and I did get a benefit from it. But now I know to ask, and if I've got a gift as well, that will probably increase the benefits that I get. So what I'm going to do now is just I'm going to try to take you through just a few minutes of meditation. Now, bearing in mind, you'll probably be doing this standing up barefoot on the grass. Better anyway. So if you give the minutes, just stay sitting down and just close your eyes as we go through. And just imagine yourself, you're standing outside, early morning. The sun's just going to be coming up as well. There might be a little bit of dew on the grass in the summer, that might be a little bit wet and cold. So we'll start off first, focusing on the breathing. Just in through the nose, box breathing, 4 seconds in, then hold it for 4 seconds, then release the breath over 4 seconds. Then pause for 4 seconds. Do a couple of breaths like that. Breathing into your diaphragm. Just calming your nervous system down. You're breathing down for these first few breaths. You're in a nice quiet place that you go to regularly to do this in the mornings. But just breathing into the diaphragm, do 2 or 3 breaths. Once you've calmed yourself and you've been focusing on what you're going to do, you're going to ask Gaia if you can for her help, her energy in healing. And if you can say specifically what it's for to Gaia, so she knows. You can either say that when you do it quietly in your mind or quietly out loud. Yeah, just a whisper. Once you've done that, continue with the breathing. You might be a specific problem, an inflammation that you know you've got in your back, in your knee, or something. That's you asked for a guy. That's what you're asking for help for, healing power. Now from here, you're going to imagine that from your feet, as you're breathing, roots slowly coming out down into the ground. Carrying on, focus on your breathing as you breathe through your cycle of 4 seconds in, pause, out, and pause. The roots, imagine the roots are going deeper and deeper into the ground through the soil. Then you might it's going to get to that stage where it's through rocks, probably through layers of crystals that's going deeper, and you're heading, and the roots are heading down straight to the core of Gaia. And just imagine that's where all her feminine energy, her power is, for you to get your roots to, and then she can get the most benefit of the healing up to you. Once you're happy that you got those roots deep and they're strong, as you breathe in, imagine that healing feminine energy is coming up through your roots, all the way back up. Your roots are strong, they're held, they're now right at the center of Gaia. The healing energy, as you breathe it, going through your breathing cycle, is going up. It reaches your feet, comes up to your feet, slowly up your ankles, your calves. Imagine feeling it entering your body. Just a nice, warm, calming sensation. Imagine that's just the Gaia's feminine healing energy rising up your legs, both legs. Carrying on your breathing cycle, gets to your hips, your waist, all the way up through, or all around your core, your abdomen, your back, all the way up, rising through your body, up to your chest. As it gets to your upper chest, you now feel it going down both arms and still rising in your chest. It's getting to your forearms as it gets up to your throat and your neck. It's into your hands, rising up through your face or your head and all the way up to the top. As you breathe out, you imagine, as you breathe out through your mouth, imagine that you're breathing out. It's a grey smoke, and that is what you're releasing, whether it's an inflammation that you've had, swollen knee or something like that. That's the damaged tissue that you're now releasing out of your body. As you're breathing back as you pause, now again go back to imagine the healing power coming back up through the roots, all the way up You can feel it coming back into your feet. That warm sensation going slowly up your calves, your thighs, going up through your hips, your cord, your abdomen, all around your back, your lower chest. As it hits your upper chest, it's coming down your arms again, all the way down to your hands, your fingers, going up through your neck area, your throat, all the way up to your head. And you're breathing out again through your mouth, nice and gently. Just imagine that grey smoke coming out. You're releasing it, whether it's physical, mental trauma, it's all coming out now. You're releasing it from your body. That guy has helped you to get rid of. Once we've done this, we're just going to do a couple more breaths to calm ourselves down. And once we've finished, we're going to give thanks to Gaia again for the healing gift that she has given you. Just a quiet thank you so she can hear you. And then once you've given thanks, that will end your healing session that you've done with Gaia. And thank you for your time.
Hello,
Everybody fell
hello,
asleep
hello.
today.
Well, thank you, Sean. That was absolutely beautiful, and such a strong connection with Gaia. Really amazing to see. You know how your journey from the weekend, from before the weekend and the weekend, how it has taken you to this point. Really beautiful. So thank you for sharing your wisdom. There was just so much richness to that experience. Beautiful.
I've got to thank the people that where I got all the knowledge from anyway for it anyway.
Mm.
Just passing it on.
Thank you so much, Sean. That was absolutely amazing, and
Thank you.
definitely something to practice that morning meditation. So I will
Yeah.
I will give it a whirl and feedback. Thank you so much. Okay. So continuing from the ground, I feel this beautiful connection now that we created, and that we are really getting into our roots, into our foundations for the next season, for the spring. We're going to go to Dave, and I invite this dear brother to share some of the gifts of the seeds of this season.
Thank you, brother.
Over to you.
Happy Ostara and happy spring equinox to everybody. This is the moment of the wheel of the year when day and night stand in perfect balance. From tomorrow, the night, well, it's a little bit later than tomorrow. It's because it actually happened on Friday. But from now onwards, the light begins to win. The seeds have been sleeping in the dark soil to stir. The earth stirs towards the sun. But I want to speak about something that is rarely discussed at Ostara. We celebrate the light, we celebrate the new growth, we celebrate the emergence, but we rarely honour what came before. Because a seed does not become a seed in the spring. It falls in the darkness of autumn, it surrenders to the cold, and it breaks open in the absence of light. Today, I want to speak about the journey through darkness. And the courage it takes to emerge. This teaching is about masculine energy, not men, but masculine principle that exists in all of us. The part that structures, builds, protects, and acts. And for the women here, the teaching will help you understand the men in your life, and perhaps the part of you that you've not yet fully honoured. So most of us are conditioned to live in an internal summer. Productive, visible, strong, doing. We're taught that the rest is weakness, that silence is failure, that the winter in our lives, the periods of emptiness, isolation, confusion, is something to be ashamed of, something to rush through, something to escape. For men, this condition is especially strong. A man is supposed to provide, to protect, to perform. There is no reason for rest in the story we are told. So when a man enters his winter, he often does not surrender to it. He fights it. He medicates it with work, with distraction, with substances, with noise. He tries to force the sun to return before the earth is ready. And here is what I have learned on this path. The winter is not a mistake. It's not a failure. It's not something to be fixed. The winter is the gestation period for whatever is trying to be born. In shamanic traditions, we understand that every seed must go through a period of darkness. The seed coat often soften. The old form must dissolve before the new form can emerge. This is not passive, this is alchemical. But many of us, especially men, don't know how to be seeds. We know to be oaks. We know how to stand tall, weather storms, provide shelter. But we don't know how to surrender to the soil, to the dark, to the unknown. And so when spring comes, when the light returns, when the opportunity for rebirth arrives, many of us are just not ready. Not because we lack potential, but because many of us have skipped the winter. We did not let the seed coat dissolve, and we did not allow the old version of ourselves to die. So men often try to grow into the new season, carrying the old form. The old patterns just keep repeating. So here's some wisdom for surrendering over striving. So what does the seed teach us? The seed does not strive, it does not force, it does not look at the other seeds and compare itself. It is not set to a timetable for its own growth. The seed simply surrenders. It lets the darkness hold it. It lets the water soften it. It lets the warmth call it. And when the time is right, not before, not after, it cracks open. And here's the most important thing. The cracking open is not destruction. It's the beginning of the form. Many people are afraid of the crack, the breakdown, the moment when the old identity shatters. You do not yet know who you are becoming. But the seed shows us that the crack is the doorway. It is the only way through. So for the men here, you are in your winter. Do not rush. Do not medicate. Do not shame yourself for being in the dark. You're not lost. You're the seed in the soil. Your job right now is not to grow. Your job is to soften and let the old seed coat dissolve. Allow the winter to do its work. And for the women here, you carry masculine energy too. The part that structures, acts and builds, perhaps you also struggle to surrender and to rest and to let the winter do its work. This teaching is for you as well. And if there are men in your life, in your lives, sons, brothers, partners, fathers, who seem stuck, who seem distant, who seem unable to move on, understand this. They may be in their winter. Your job is not to fix them. Your job is not to drag them into spring before they are ready. Your job is to trust the process, to hold space, to let them know that the darkness is not a failure, it's a preparation. The greatest gift we can give a man in his winter is not advice or rather I should rephrase that, the greatest gift that you can give to the masculine energy in its winter is not advice, it's presence. It is the message, I see you, I trust your timing, I'll be here for you when you emerge. So I want to invite you for a moment of reflection. Take a breath, feel your feet on the floor. Ask yourself these 3 questions. First question, what is the winter teaching me right now? If you're stuck in a dark period, what is it asking you to let go of? What old story, what old identity, old way of being is being asked to dissolve? Second question is, what seed am I carrying? What is the new life that it wants to emerge through you? Not what you think you should become, but what is already stirring in the dark. And the third and last question is, am I willing to crack open? Am I willing to let the old form dissolve so that the new form can emerge? Am I willing to trust the process, even when I cannot see the outcome? And for those who are not in their winter right now, who are ready in spring or summer, ask yourself this. Who in my life is in their winter? How can I hold space for them without trying to fix them? Think that over for a second. So in closing, I'd like to offer up this short poem. It's called The Seed's Confession. I did not know that the dark was a womb. I thought it was a grave. I fought against the soil, against the weight, against the silence. I tried to stay whole. But the whole seed is the one that never grows. The cracked seed is the one that becomes. So I let myself break, and in the breaking, I found the light, and I was looking for had been inside me all along, waiting for the crack. May you go on and honour your winter. May you trust your spring. May you have the courage to crack open. And may you hold space for those who are still in the dark, knowing that the light they seek is already within them, waiting for the right time to emerge. Happy Ostara. Aho.
Aho, and I went. Thank you so much, brother. That was beautiful and an amazing invitation to really thinking beautifully there about the masculine energy. Very often, I think Ostara relates so much to the feminine Gaia energy, but we forget that we're still needing to balance that. So thank you for bringing that awareness there as well. Amazing. Thanking you. So we are going to continue this journey to see really what needs to sprout out of the season and out of this opportunity really to rise towards the light. And so we are going to, I wanted to just bring a little bit of awareness into some of the therapeutic work that you can do for yourself before we go to our beautiful shell, and the opportunity that we have to work with the energy of the liver. I know that some people have already had the liver flush challenge with myself the week before last, which is still an opportunity. If you would like to sign up, I will put a link here around the post, and it's something that you can do anytime as we're in the waning sort of side of the moon, because you want to make sure that you're working with the flow of the body. But it's certainly a beautiful process of looking after yourself, of detoxing the liver to really let go of calcifications and impurities basically that we are holding on to, And as I said at the beginning, in Chinese medicine, is the liver is also the organ that stores our anger. So we have the opportunity to emotionally let go of that anger that maybe we've been carrying with us for way too long. So a practice that can be very useful for us to kind of think about, and from a mindset point of view, and kind of trying to get to the root cause of some of the things that might have impact in our life, is to understand, the mechanisms, the patterns, what is behind something that is in our life, something that is having maybe more impact than what it should. So as I said earlier on, every emotion is a messenger, and we've got the opportunity to learn from these emotions. And one of the biggest lessons that emotions are here to teach us, especially the negative ones, if you think about any situation in our life where we are in the, if we are attached to a negativity, as in you see sometimes perhaps a woman that has been in a domestically violent or abusive relationship, but she still goes back to the same home, to the same person, and does not walk away. People that are stuck in patterns of gambling or lying, and being, still in that pattern regardless of knowing that it's not okay. So we put up with negative emotions, with negative states of mind, because they are a form of safeguard. They are there to protect something. So the wisdom that those emotions hold is, what are those emotions keeping you safe from? What are they protecting? What side of you are they guarding? So when we start really to tap into the narrative behind it, we have an immense opportunity to say thank you to the gatekeeper, to thank, the role that that emotion has had for us. So in this case, anger, and really understand, what is behind it. Why do I get angry? Do I get angry with what is being presented in front of me, the information, the message that maybe someone speaks on their lips? Or am I reacting to an old pattern, an old version of me, maybe a young version of me that has experienced something that has created, that trauma, and subsequently then we continued to use the same pattern of kind of getting angry, but actually we're still stuck in that moment. So we are less likely to stop ourselves, or to kind of, sometimes we might even suppress our own truth, but we tap into the anger of the situation, but actually what we haven't dealt with is the ancestral issue. So we can hide behind the anger because we have not had the opportunity to externalize, what was going on for us at that point. Maybe we got angry because we weren't being seen, we weren't being heard, we weren't being treated with respect, and suppressing it, just keeping it in and feeling that anger is just the beginning of a long pattern whereby anything could say something almost irrelevant, and we could blow our tops off and get really, intense emotions, simply because we're tapping into the same pattern. So it's not that the person in front of you is not seeing you, is not hearing you, but the emotion is very similar to what we experienced when we had that trauma. So immediately we travel back to the root cause of our issue. So the healing work that we can do here is really to give ourselves permission to get angry, to feel it, and then to really get transported back to, where did that really originate from? When did I first feel that real intense emotion in my life? And what was happening at that time? Why did I get angry at that time? It might not be because my sister stole my toy, yeah, but it's the way that my sister made me feel. What was the wisdom there? Yeah, maybe it was because it was my favorite toy, and she did not realize that, that toy meant that, I that toy was from my mum, so I had a a special bond with that toy. There was a lot more meaning to it. So for me, it was maybe something that really cut into my feelings, because I felt that if I lost that toy, I would not have my mum. I would not have that love that that toy represented. So it's actually a very profound, different meaning to what, the simple action of stealing a toy might have been. So giving ourselves the opportunity to explore, to unpack, yeah, to really dissect what is going on with a particular experience that we have currently in our present day, can reveal so much about ourselves if we allow ourselves the space to do that. So I just wanted to bring a little bit of insight into something that you can do to really work with the beautiful emotion of anger. And next, we're going to go over to our lovely, lovely Shell, who's going to no doubt bring us back into our body and into a more positive state than dealing with that anger, for sure. Shell, over to you.
Evening, everyone. So what I've done is I have pulled an oracle spread for Ostara, and the deck I've used is the Animal Spirit Oracle. It's one of my favorites. So what I would love everybody to do is to just take a deep breath and land where we are. And I'd like you to think of your seed, of your intention, something that you would plant now and would like to come into fruition. And once you have that seed, I will run through the cards that were given. Okay, so welcome back. So I've done a 5-card oracle spread, and the first one is the seed. So the intention that you made, the seed is, what energy are you planting with this seed? And the card that was brought up was the deer. So the energy for the deer, the energy for your seed, is to ensure that you're setting intention from the gentleness of your heart, embodying kindness and allowing your true self to be a part of your intention. The deer also listens to their inner guidance and is aware of what is around them. So the next card then is from your seed, what actions are required for your seed to take place? And the card that was dealt was the dove. So the actions that are required for this are for your intentions to come from a clear mind, from peace, from compassion, and from love. Then moving on to the spring clean. What is it that you need to let go of to allow your seed to grow? And the card that was pulled was cheetah. So the thing you need to let go of is indecisiveness, rushing, quick decision making, and running into things without thinking about it. So what it's asking you to do is to calm down, take a breath. And then the next thing is to bloom, which is how will this seed show up in the near future? And what are you welcoming in? And the card that was pulled was the panda. This is one of my favorites. So what you are welcoming in is kindness, balance, nurturing yourselves and others from a place of connection and harmony, embracing empathy and understanding that kindness and natural flow will always be the best option. And then the final one then, which is the spring growth. What do you need to embrace as this seed comes to life? And the card was the cockatoo. And the cockatoo is to embrace your deep inner knowing, to embody a sense of freedom, and to know that your inner wisdom and your inner knowledge is always the one truth. So trusting your own truth and embrace the journey of self-discovery. So to recap, the seed you're planting from a loving, loving heart. The actions required come from pure love and compassion. What you need to release and let go is rushing into that decision. What you'll welcome in is balance and harmony. And what to embrace in life with your intention is to know that your deeper inner knowing always knows the way. I hope that was useful. I do have a poem to share. That is also okay.
Absolutely, can't wait.
I'm very aware it's gone very dark.
Well, you're out in the sticks. That's what happens in West Wales.
Okay. So this poem is called Time to Bloom. Balance restored for night and day. The hours equal, celebrated that way. Movement soft, for now at least. The crossover here. It's time to feast. Ostara leaving Pisces. Zodiac's end. Aries arrival. Begin again. Ground yourself. Take it slow. Water into fire. Let it flow. Uncertainty, yes. What's the plan? Live for the moment. Seeds in hand. Woolen clouds, high on the hills. Fertile lands, working mills. Welcome it in, spring in your step. Open windows, take a deep breath. Nature is waking, active nest. No longer retreating, completed rest. New ideas blossom, intentions break free. Magical moments, melted the freeze. Colour emerging, changing times. Turn of the wheel, it's time to rise. Owen.
Beautiful, beautiful, nourishing. I feel the heart coherence coming through the poem, literally. Boom. Thank you so much. And that was very useful use of the and demonstration of the oracle cards, which was a beautiful and a really lovely way to bring so many perspectives into what we're essentially manifesting, really looking at every angle that is important to consider about all of that. And having said that, I got one of my doggies that has just walked in to say happy Ostara to everyone, I'm sure. But thank you so much, Shell. That was beautiful as always. Lovely, love your poems. So thank you. Feel so nourished. Just what was needed for this evening and for us to start Ostara together. And really welcoming the joyful sharings and the healing that has come through these conversations, these talks, these demonstrations, these shares that have come from the heart. So it's absolutely beautiful to have you here, to be able to start the spring together, to start dusting off those old cupboards and checking what needs throwing out and letting everything go that no longer serves, especially the negative anger. Let's learn from it and obviously plant seeds that we can really grow into beautiful poems to guide our life. So I want to say thank you to our beautiful, beautiful students, everyone here that has been so amazing. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for your presence and your heart being here with us tonight. And I want to renew the invitation to obviously connect with us, to give your feedback, and obviously any giveaways from the ceremony, and also to connect with our work. Remember, we got a beautiful, beautiful Sham Fam, our tribe, that is ready to connect with you on our app, on Merlin app, on the community, where you can go and connect with people and share your insights as well. Again, thank you for journeying with us. Happy Ostara, happy beginning of the spring, and see you all in 6 weeks for our next Celtic Fire Festival. Have a beautiful evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Awen. Unmute yourselves and give us an Awen. Bye.
Awen.
Owen,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.